Hey everyone. So coming at you today with the video that is a couple days late, honestly. It's a couple days past when I said I originally would. But stuff kept coming up. But I'm here now. And that's what's important. So, wanted to go over a couple things today. Now you'll notice I don't have the Dreadnought up here. I just have these guys. And that is because he's not done. It is a big piece. It has a lot of moving parts like this that are all like supposed to move. So it's taking me some time, and I wanted to have this piece all sit before I continued. With the Dreadnought, a bunch of pieces are going to be painted separately because it's a really big piece. There's a lot of smaller details that I got to get into, and I don't want to ruin anything on it. It's a big piece. It's a really cool looking piece. Just as a reminder, this is kind of what it looks like, except with my color scheme. Ignore the blueberry. But yeah, so I'm working on the Dreadnought. I'm going to probably finish it up today. But for now, this is what I got. See, that's the sarcophagus. Those who don't know the lore of a Dreadnought is, it's actually a dead guy who was put into a mechanical sarcophagus and allows his consciousness to live on. By the way, I keep mentioning it. That's the Aquila, the double-headed eagle. But it allows his consciousness to live on, and he can continue fighting for the chapter. But until I finish that, this is what you guys are going to get a preview of. Not a preview, but this is what you're going to get a view of. So, a couple things I've decided. One, I'm going to put the belt buckle back to the steel color. You're just not going to focus, are you? Well, let me try this. Yeah, I'm going to put the belt buckle back to the steel color. I think the gold clashes too much with it. But it was a nice little shot. I'm glad I tried it. Next, with these guys. I've already shown people the muzzle burn effect, which is probably a little too nuanced to get clearly, but you can see a little bit of it on the camera. But I've done a couple changes to these guys as well. And that I thought the back of it was too monotoned. So all that red used to be a steel color. This is the fuel tubing for the flame weapons. So I went and I painted that red. I wanted to change it up, add some different colors that make sense too. Because I don't know about you, but a fuel color for a fuel tubing, I would just imagine it to be a red color. So I painted it red. Also, things I want to keep in mind. Anything I say in here, like lore-wise, or even the chapter tactics for my chapter, none of this is set in stone. None of it is set in stone. Because I'm just, like, again, this is mostly just as a chronicle of my thoughts. What I want, what I'm thinking of doing now, etc. So, oddly enough, that whole backstory I gave with the home planet, it's still canon to my story, but it hasn't happened yet. So right now, these guys are not the Celestial Blades, because that's their name after they find their homeworld. Because something didn't occur to me. In the lore, there was a big event recently called the Indomitus Crusade that lasted I think it was like 170 years. And they brought that up when 8th edition came out. However, with 8th edition, it started after the Indomitus Crusade. We are now in 9th edition Warhammer, and actually we went back in time. And now we're chronicling the events of the Indomitus Crusade. So, my chapter is still crusading around the galaxy during the Indomitus Crusade. So, I need to think of a new name. Because I know originally I said like the Silver Drakes. But I just said that because like, oh, this isn't going to be their name, so I don't got to stick with it. I might stick with that. But I'm still trying to come up with some cool names for the chapter. In the end, I may just stick with the Silver Drakes. But for now, they are not the Celestial Blades yet. That probably won't come until like 10th edition when we're finally at the end of the Indominus Crusade. But yeah. So, there's all of that. Things I'm trying to think of next. Obviously, I have my Dreadnought that I'm working on. And there'll be a whole showcase and a lore video in one around him. Because Dreadnoughts are usually very important. And I have a big plan for this particular Dreadnought. But I'll get into that at another time. Let's just say this Dreadnought was a very important person to the chapter before he died. I figure, hey, if it's going to be my first Dreadnought, it's going to be something important. And I'll probably deck him out with a bunch of battle honors, and he'll look more important than Dreadnoughts in the future. But yeah. What else is there? Yeah, I'm changing the gold back to silver. I added the red tubing. Oh, right. Also, the chapter tactics I picked for Hungry for Battle of Master Artisans. I have been putting a lot of thought into this, and I think I'm going to belay any kind of decision on chapter tactics for now. Not because, like, not even so much because, there's so much that I want, which is true. But I want to build my chapter tactics around the lore that I build. And now I need to go and I need to build a lore for the Indominus Crusade. What the chapter's doing, who they're fighting alongside. Like, I'm going to have them fight alongside the Salamanders quite a bit. So it's very possible I still have the Master Artisans chapter tactic. But for now, I'm not going to say what I have, because I don't really know what I'm going to have by the end of this. Because, again, I just want to, I want to build up my tactics around my lore. What would make sense? But, yeah. I still don't regret giving them the weapons I have, because I still want a lot of assault weapons, because I still think I want them to be a little faster of an army, to run around more, to get more, to cover more ground, to grab objectives and such. I'm starting to really think out their chapter tactics. Like, these guys, for example, with the Flamestorm Gauntlet, can actually be very dangerous. Because, since they're a Salamander successor, in battle there's a stratagem they can take called Flamecraft, which makes it so they automatically hit the max amount. Now, each of these guys, when they attack, get 2d6 attacks with their weapons. So that's 2, 2, 2, that's 6. D6 times 6, that's 36 hits. And since flame weapons automatically hit, they don't automatically wound, but they automatically hit, that's 36 hits just going in at a strength 4, which means they'll wound my enemy on a 4. So I did out the math. On average, I'll be doing about 4 wounds. 4 to 5 wounds. Sorry, it's 5 to 6. 5 to 6 wounds with these guys each time they attack. With Flamecraft, which is nuts. So I've been kind of thinking of a battle organization where I'll have aggressors taking the front and have melee units take the back behind them. So these guys charge up. My melee units charge up, move up, and then I can screen these guys out and allow melee units to charge forward. But also, these guys are also amazing in melee, so I could just keep them there. I could just charge up the field with these guys. So, I haven't really fully decided. There's a lot of things I could do. But these are just preliminary ideas, like story-wise, how I want them to battle. Because there's also a thing in here called Overwatch, where if your opponent charges you, you can spend a command point to have your guys attack into the charging unit. And I couple that with Flamecraft, That's 36 hits. Normally on an Overwatch, when you roll your D6, you only hit on a 6. But since flame weapons bypass the hit, that's 36 hits on an Overwatch. These guys are dangerous to charge. You don't want to charge Flamestorm aggressors. Sorry, my headset fell off a bit. I'm too far into this video to want to stop. But either way, I think that's all I have for today. Changing chapter tactics. Right now they're gone. They are not the Celestial Blades yet. But they will be. But either way, that's all I have for today. I'll keep you guys posted on the Dreadnought. Again, when he's fully built, I'll probably put a picture up. And when he's fully painted, I'll put a video up and a lore video about him. But thanks for stopping by. I'll see you guys next time.